Welcome to Infinity Cast, the podcast where we explore the pivotal moments that echo through history. I'm your host, Elias Whitlock. Today, we're journeying back to 19th century France, not for Napoleon, but for a brief, blazing moment of revolution that is too often overlooked, the Paris Commune of 1871. For 72 days, the people of Paris embarked on one of history's most radical experiments in direct democracy, only to see it drowned in blood. To help me unpack this complex and tragic story, I'm joined by my co-host and fellow historian, June Halden. Welcome, June.
Thanks for having me, Elias. The Commune is a fascinating, almost mythic event. To understand how it happened, you have to picture Paris in early 1871. The city was reeling from a humiliating defeat in the Franco-Prussian War and a brutal 4-month siege that left its citizens starving and resentful of the new national government, which had fled to Versailles. The spark ignites on March 18th. The French army, on orders from Versailles, tries to seize the cannons of the Paris National Guard, cannons Parisians had paid for themselves through public subscription. The people, especially the women of Montmartre, flood the streets, fraternize with the soldiers, and refuse to let the cannons be taken. By the end of the day, the government had fled the city, and Paris belonged to its people.
And what they did with that power is what makes the Commune so revolutionary. This wasn't just a change of management. On March 26th, they held elections for a new communal council, creating a government that was, in its own words, the people governing itself by itself. They abolished the death penalty, ended military conscription, and declared the separation of church and state. They enacted incredible social policies, a moratorium on rent payments, the abolition of night work for bakers, and, most radically, a decree that allowed workers to take over and run factories that had been abandoned by their owners. It was a laboratory for socialist and anarchist ideas, all happening in real time.
But this laboratory was surrounded. The Versailles government, led by the conservative Adolphe Thiers, never went to tolerate a sovereign revolutionary Paris. They spent 2 months building up their army, even securing the release of French prisoners of war from Prussia to bolster their numbers. And on May 21, they entered the city.
What followed was the Semaine Sanglante, the Bloody Week. It was a week of horrific, systematic slaughter. The Communards, as they were called, fought desperately behind thousands of barricades, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. The Versailles army showed no mercy. They executed men, women, and children on the spot. Firing squads worked around the clock at places like the Père Lachaise cemetery.
The numbers are staggering. While the Communards have executed around 100 hostages, the government forces are estimated to have killed anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 Parisians in a single week. It was a brutal, definitive crushing of the Parisian working class and its revolutionary ambitions.
Absolutely, and its legacy is profound. For Karl Marx, it was the first real-world example of the dictatorship of the proletariat. For Lenin, its failures were a lesson in how to be more ruthless in seizing and holding state power. But for others, it remains a powerful symbol of what's possible when ordinary people take control of their own lives and communities, however briefly.
A truly cautionary tale of both utopian hope and the brutal reality of state power. It forces us to ask what it truly means to create a new form of society and what price the old order will exact to stop it.
That's all the time we have for today. My thanks to June Halden.
My pleasure, Elias.
And thank you for listening to Infinity Cast. Join us next time as we explore another echo from the past.